Hey guys, so there's a lot of people asking about how to get the Tiago pants onto the normal male character or even the female character, and moving clothing around between the pros and the creative skater and vice versa. I'll also show you how to use custom textures for the pros clothings as well, and it's really easy. So first, have your game open, everything's standard. You can see all the default clothing, and as you know, you can kind of sort of customize the character. There's only a few options right now, but we have 3 pants for Tiago, so let's just go ahead and pick the dark blue pants, and we're going to move the pants over to our custom skater. So we'll just make sure we have Tiago selected. It doesn't matter who is selected as long as you're not selecting the character that you're editing with the file. So we'll back out, we'll Alt-Tab, we'll go to our C drive, Users, your profile name, AppData, LocalLow, Easy Day Studios, SkaterXL, Players. And in here, there's customization JSON files for all of the characters, including the male and the female, and the pros. So if we just open up our text editing program, I use Notepad++. It's very helpful, makes this a lot easier. I'd suggest downloading it if you're doing this. And I'm going to order these for how they are in the character list so it's easy to understand. So we'll go over to Tiago Lemos, and in the JSON file you'll see different items. So for instance, here's his pants, here's his shoes, his sweater. So the first section group is clothing gear, the second section is the board, and then the third section is the body. And so this actually drives if it's the normal male or female character and what skin they're using, or one of the pros. So in this case it uses the Tiago Lemos skin and body. So if we scroll back up, we'll take this pants clothing, or we'll take this pants object, we'll select it all, we'll copy it, we'll go to the male, we'll find where the pants are, and we will select it and overwrite it with the Tiago pants. And at this point, if I click save, go back to the game, go to the character menu, and select our skater, you can see the pants have changed. Now, a lot of the clothing is not meant to be used cross-character, and because of that there's different rigging and different clipping issues with other clothing, just because the artists didn't make the game or the clothing compatible with each other, and if they did, it would be an absolute nightmare and take a lot of time to do that. So there are a few options that actually do look okay. You'll have to figure them out on your own. For this instance, I actually, when I use the baggy pants, first of all, anytime you Alt-Tab back out to these JSON files and you're using Notepad++, it'll ask you to update the file. Always hit yes, and you can see the newest file. So you can see that the pants are still being used. Everything else is in here too. So I'm just going to take this sweater that I'm wearing. I'm going to get rid of it. I don't want to wear a sweater. But before I save that, I'll make sure that the male character is not selected, otherwise it won't work properly. Go back to the JSON, click save, go back to the game, select the character, and he's shirtless. And the baggy pants, because of the clipping, because they're larger, Tiago's a larger character compared to the normal ones, it looks good. And you can, of course, customize your character like normal. Do whatever you need to do here. You put your shirts back on, and you actually, at this point, you can see what clips and what doesn't clip. This doesn't clip too bad, but it might look okay in replays. The sweater also clips, so like your best option is to use the hoodie or no shirt really. And if you try to change your pants, you'll see that they were made to be worn with shirts, stuff like that. So these are the Tiago pants. Now I'm going to move the beanie that I have selected over to Tiago. And you can do this with other hats too. You have to figure out what clips, what doesn't clip, what looks good. So there's no hat in this character file, so we're just going to add it in. And make sure in between every item there's a comma. That way it knows to go to the next object, otherwise it'll break. We'll save Tiago. We'll go over to him and boom, he's wearing that beanie. The default beanie looks pretty good. The snapback looks okay. There's a little bit of clipping because his head's a little bit larger. And actually, I'm going to take Tiago's shirt off as well, just to show you how that looks. It looks pretty good. Here's the sweater. Primitive long sleeve, and we'll get rid of that. Get rid of that comma, save that. Go back to Tiago, and boom, no shirt. I'll go to the character, male character. I'll pick a snapback hat. Looks good on here. Go back to the Tiago character. Actually go to the male so we can grab that hat. Copy the hat. Go to Tiago. Replace the beanie that we had. Save it. Switch back. And he's wearing the snapback. So as you can see, there's a little bit of clipping issue, but if you use the replay editor in a specific way, you can hide that crime, and you'll be good. So again, with this method, you can switch everything out. You can switch pants, you can switch tops, shoes, decks. I've got some pretty crazy things going with Tom Asta, because his hair is actually a part of the character body, but the hat is not. So as you can see, you can choose different hats. So it's possible for us to take that same snapback, copy it again. We'll go to Tom Asta, update his file, replace the beanie that he's using, which does not replace the hair. We'll save it, and then we'll switch back to him, and he's wearing a snapback. He's got a little balding problem. It's pretty unfortunate. Again, you can hide that with the replay editor and stuff like that. But this is a good way to get his pants, or Tiago's pants, or the hoodies and the shirts. Sometimes there's a few clipping issues. One thing to note is that the shorts do not work with the pros, mostly because when the shorts are used for the character, it tries to use another leg mesh that is not available for the pros. They weren't modeled, so they are not available. You'll just get invisible legs and the shorts. So if we replace Tom Asta's pants with the shorts, they are invisible because they do not exist. They were never modeled. Again, going back to compatibility between clothing made for each character, not possible. You can also do some funny stuff with the gear utilities and the pros. Let's see if I can get the hats to work this time. Yep. So you can also use the hats with Tom Asta, and they turn out pretty good. You can use all the hats. Some look good, some don't look that good. The helmet kind of works, which is pretty funny. Yeah. You can do beards. I like to give him a more pronounced mustache than what he currently has. And then of course you can always do the glasses. And the watches, and the masks work too. All that cool stuff. The 5-panel actually works really well with him too. The dead hat doesn't work too well because the way the hat is angled, it's angled up too high. So you can see the dad hat doesn't work too well because the hair is a little bit clipped off from the angle of the beanie that he normally wears. So the snapback works, the normal beanie works, the 5-panel works, but this doesn't work too well. So I'd avoid using that. Another funny thing you could do is take hairstyles from the female character and put them on the pros too. I know, it's kind of crazy, but it works. My best example is putting them on Brandon. Boom. Got some luscious hair. Bet you never expected to see that. You can also do the same thing for Tom, which is even more funny. So I'll take this black hair, curly black long. I'll go and grab that. I'll go to Tom. I'll replace the hat itself with the hair because they're the same item. And then I'll go back to Tom, and I have a fucking mullet. What can I say? Mullets are cool. And so if you combine gear utilities and specific hats, you will get some very interesting creations. So you can also edit the file to switch textures to a custom texture. So if you found a download for different Tiago pants, or you made your own for any of the other pros items like the shirts or the cargo pants or this Brandon hoodie, anything, we'll just make sure that we're not selected on him. So in my gear folder under my pants, I have these two files, and these are using the Tiago pants template. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this name for these black pants. I'll go back over to the Tiago item. Here's this pants. I'm going to look at is custom. I'll change that to true, because anytime you use a custom item from the gear selector, it sets it up in this specific way. And then we'll look at the albedo texture. We'll take this string and replace it. And actually, before I paste that, I need to make sure I have a custom item so I can get the path. So I'll just grab a custom shirt, update. Here it is. So mine's under my gear. So I'll copy that, replace all of this, and I know that there's a pants folder, and then I'll go back and actually copy that name again, paste it here, so the new string goes to the new texture within my gear folder. And this is hard coding, well, not really hard coding, but it is forcing the texture to be used. So if I go back to Tiago, hey, look at that, I'm using the new texture. So if I go back, there's a second pants texture, the other big boy polar blues. Copy that name, paste it here, save it again, go back to Tiago, and there they are. I hope that helps. I know it was a little long, but there's a lot of examples in there, so edit away. Have fun. Take care, guys.